A judge in the United States has blocked a near-total ban on abortion in the state of Texas following a challenge by the Biden administration. Judge Robert Pitman issued a temporary injunction saying his court wouldn't sanction one more day of what he described as the offensive deprivation of an important right. Our reporter Courtney Bembridge told me more about the law.
It prohibited abortion any time after 6 weeks. Now, it applied in cases of rape and incest too, which made it instantly controversial. And the Biden administration launched a challenge against that law. A judge has now considered that challenge, and that's why he stepped in and put the temporary halt.
Some very strong words from Judge Pitman. Just tell us more about what he said.
Yes, I'm going to actually bring up his words so that we can read them together. He said, "This court will not sanction one more day of this offensive deprivation of such an important right." And he also called out Texas officials for crafting what he said was an unprecedented and aggressive scheme. Now, that's because the way this law operates is a little bit different to previous laws. It put the onus on private citizens to launch lawsuits against people accused of helping someone go through with the termination. Now, they could get payments back of about $10,000 and critics say that amounted to a bounty. So rather than law enforcement trying to prohibit people getting an abortion, private citizens were able to sue anyone who helped them. So that's where this law differed, and that's why early challenges haven't been successful. So it's interesting now that the court has stepped in to put a temporary ban while all this comes out in the court. But of course, it's all very interesting in the context of Roe versus Wade, which since 1973 has allowed women in the US to get an abortion. Now, Jen Psaki, the US White House press secretary, mentioned Roe versus Wade today, and we can have a look at what else she said. After this, she said, "The fight has only just begun, both in Texas and in many states across this country where women's rights are currently under attack." But she did say that today's ruling, or overnight's ruling, was an important step forward in terms of restoring constitutional rights for women in Texas.
Now, as you mentioned, this is just a temporary block on this new law. What happens next?
Well, this will no doubt end up before the Supreme Court. An appeal is very likely to be lodged. But in the meantime, abortion providers in Texas are saying they are preparing to open their doors once again so women can access services there. But there are other doctors that have raised concerns that they might be personally liable, that they could be still vulnerable to private suits, and they are maybe a little more cautious about whether they should be operating as normal. So it's a wait and see at this stage to see how that pans out. But certainly the temporary ban is in place for now, which means that abortion is legal.
Courtney Bembridge.